Welcome everyone. I'm Anushka Rakhe and behalf of the mental health unit of Rotaract Club of Caduceus, I welcome you all on today's show. So today's topic is very important. I think mental health stigma is our topic and it's very important to break it. And so today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Tejal Kothari. She's a psychiatrist who works in a government hospital and counsels children and adults over mental health issues. She's also a part of the de-addiction unit in the hospital. She has been involved with a number of NGOs for free mental health checkups and has also been a part of the suicide prevention helpline by the government of Delhi. And during these difficult times of COVID, she has been of great help in providing assistance. Along with Dr. Tejal Kothari, we have our lovely students of KJ Somaya College of Physiotherapy with us. We welcome Dr. Divya Sharma, Ms. Bilva Savant, and Ms. Kirti Gunjikar to our show. Welcome, everybody.
For having us today.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So we are going to start with a very short game. So the game goes like this. It's called Word Sneak. So I will be giving one word to each of the panelists, and they will be adding one word to it in 5 seconds. And using those two words, all three of our panelists will be making up positive sentences. And let's see how it goes. Yeah, let's have some fun. Okay, so the first word goes to Dr. Divya Sharma, and the word is isolation.
Okay, so I'll club isolation with the word help, and I would like to say that people with mental health are not really facing those issues in isolation. There is always help which is available.
Okay, let's give the next word now. Ms. Bilva Savant, the word is shame.
So I'd like to say that I'd like to couple that word with distress. So I would say that don't let the beliefs of anyone shame you shame you into isolation, and don't let anyone's beliefs distress you.
Wonderful. Okay, now the last word is for Ms. Kirti, and the word is belief.
I would like to combine belief with willing to. So, if you're actually willing to cope up and fight, so you should always be willing to give up on the wrong beliefs.
Okay, that is wonderful. So we have some great sentences, positive sentences to boost our morale. And on that note, I would like to start with the talk show. So our panelists will be answering the questions first with their own little anecdotes, and then we'll have a professional opinion from Dr. Tejal. So let's start. So we have different kinds of stigmas. So there is a self stigma, there is public stigma, and there is institutional stigma. So today we'll be focusing on all of them, and one by one we'll be trying to break them. So the first is a thought that comes to our mind quite often. It says that I fear that if I go to a consultant, then I will have to be on medication for the rest of my life.
So I would just like to start by saying that this is a myth, definitely, and for it is not necessary to be on medication for every mental health condition. I'm pretty sure Tejal ma'am will agree with me on this. And each condition requires a very specific form of treatment, and the treatment must be very suitable for the patient. Each patient should have a very well customized plan of treatment. And being a little scientific, so in the field of psychology and psychiatry, so we are always taught about treatments being classified into pharmacological and non-pharmacological. So the pharmacological part deals with the medications, and the non-pharmacological part has the non-medicine related for interventions like cognitive behavioral therapy. Then you have one-on-one counseling sessions, you have group therapy. So it is not necessary that once you approach a specialist, you will be on medication for the rest of your life. That is just a myth.
Yes, ma'am. Your opinion, please.
Okay. So first of all, let me, these are students from Somaiya, and I have worked in Somaiya till 2019. I was in the psychiatry department in Somaiya only. I was finishing my studies. So we have even taken classes for physiotherapy students in Somaiya. So it's really nice to have them here. And I'm really like what she said about, this is probably one of the most important reasons that we have stigma against psychiatry, because people feel that these medications are going to continue lifelong. Like she said very clearly that not first and foremost, not all mental illnesses will have medication. We don't need to give medications in each and every mental illness. There's certain illnesses that we use non-pharmacological management, like counseling, cognitive behavior therapy. She said very rightly. However, about other difficult mental illnesses, more serious mental illnesses like say moderate to severe depression or schizophrenia, psychosis, there are many other mental illnesses for which yes, medicines are given. Again, like she said very correctly, medicines are not always taken lifelong. Okay, lifelong medicines we continue when there is a very high risk to the patient to self harm of the patient, or patient has tried committing suicide, or there has been there are many criterias. I won't get into the technicalities of all, but yes, very correctly, you don't have to take medicines forever. But what I tell my patients generally, I give them parallelism with say diabetes or hypertension. Okay, when you have hypertension, you have raised blood pressure, there you take that one medication every single day. For the example, you have thyroid issues, you do take medications for a long time. So similarly, for psychiatric illness as well, there are certain illnesses for which yes, medications are continued for a longer time. Okay, and that your doctor decides. Okay, so similarly, they are just like a physical illness. Okay, जैसा आपको physically feel होता है, वैसा ही mentally feel होता है. Brain by the end of it is also an organ. Okay, it is not something else. So जैसे हम physical illness के लिए दवाई लेते हैं, बिल्कुल वैसे ही psychiatric illnesses के लिए medications लेते हैं. So yes, it's a myth that for all psychiatric illnesses, medications continue lifelong. They don't. Okay, we tailor them according to your needs. We decide whether they're needed for a longer time. Yes, but certain medications may be considered lifelong, but that is all an individual case-to-case scenario. It does not happen with everybody. In fact, most of the cases में long-term लेने की जरूरत नहीं होती.
Okay, thank you so much for that answer. Moving on to the next one. It says that I fear that people around me will treat me differently, and my illness will hinder with the opportunities I get, no matter in personal or professional life.
So definitely this should not be the case, because current workplace guidelines, the guidelines which are set at the workplace in order to protect the consumer as well as the medical fraternity, irrespective of whether it is the medical field, whether you are working in a corporate setup, whatever may be the setup. So there are consumer laws which are in place which prohibit this kind of discrimination at the workplace. No one is allowed to discriminate between two people on the basis of their gender, on the basis of their race, their community, their medical conditions, the medical history that they have. So, and if anyone is found to be discriminating between people on the basis of these criteria, they are liable to be prosecuted. And if you or somebody who is at facing such a problem at the workplace, you should definitely approach the human resources department. And if you fear that your name may be disclosed in this whole process, in this whole reporting process, you should keep it anonymous. There is always the option of keeping it anonymous. But definitely given the ideal scenario, you will not face such a discrimination while applying for jobs or maybe some opportunity in your personal life. That shouldn't happen. That won't happen. In fact, I would encourage everyone, whoever is not feeling their best, they are not feeling like themselves lately now, especially given the COVID pandemic scenario that has become a very common problem lately. So I would recommend all of you to, approach a specialist for your concerns. And approaching and, addressing your mental health concerns only tells more about you as a person. It shows how self-aware you are, how much you are ready to get up and face your problems instead of, just giving up. It speaks more about you as a professional. And being self-aware, being, very proactive in taking action, being very proactive in addressing your weaknesses and your strengths, this is one quality which is very much, appreciated professionally as well. So there is no need to, shy away from seeking help when you are not feeling like yourself. In fact, you should definitely go for it. It will, really help you, in improving your work efficiency. In all aspects, you will, feel much better.
Yes, Dr. Tejas.
Yeah. So, like she rightly said, that workplace discrimination against mental illness is not allowed anymore. In fact, जो Mental Health Care Act hai, that has been updated somewhat, updated in about 2017, where they say that every mentally ill person has all the rights that everybody else does. Okay, you cannot take over right of somebody to work by just by saying that you're mentally ill, so you cannot work. So absolutely, she's right that if you're facing workplace discrimination, it is actually illegal. Okay, you can your employees can be fined for it, and there can be a lot of get into a lot of trouble. Okay, for discriminate against you. So don't worry. Even if you've had, then second point, like she said, Divya said very correctly that yes, if you are facing any issues, you need to meet a doctor, you need to meet a psychologist, whatever you're comfortable with. You need to seek help, because that suppose you're suffering from depression, or suppose you're suffering from anxiety, that is going to worsen your quality of life and your quality of work as well. Okay, so there is no point of you suffering in silence continuously, struggling to reach per certain point, struggling to do basic, like kai baar people suffering from depression, even getting up in the morning is a problem. Okay, but the moment we put them on antidepressants, the moment we start them on therapy, they recover so well and so beautifully that they're able to work very well. Okay, so it's very important for people to understand that it's mental illness is going to affect the way you function in every aspect, whether it be work, whether it be your relationships. You may be getting more irritable than usual, you may be facing more fights with the co-workers, and you don't understand why that is happening. So like Divya said very correctly, that you need to seek help, and if there's anybody discriminating against you because you've been on medications or because you've taken tablets, or so that needs to be taken care of. At first you need to realize that that is illegal. Most actually, I have now kind of seen that most of the corporates and all have started having this policy that we will give stress leaves. Like in UK, there is something known as stress leave. If you're feeling too stressed, you can get even 6 months off, and you need to take a break. So I think that's a very natural human concept, that we all start feeling very stressed. इंडिया में अनफॉर्चुनेटली कॉन्सेप्ट स्ट्रेस का ना थोड़ा कम है. We feel कि जब तक हम लोग 24 घंटे काम नहीं करेंगे, जब तक हम लोग 7 days a week काम नहीं करेंगे, we are not working enough, we are not driving ourselves enough. So we are very driven, but we don't understand that that driven behavior of ours can lead to a lot of other issues in life. Okay, so this workplace issue, I think this workplace discrimination, if you're facing this, then you need to talk to, like she said very clearly, talk to the HR, talk to your boss. There is nothing wrong in taking medications for mental illness. If you're taking medicines, if you're taking therapy, that's good. That is going to help you. There is nothing wrong in taking a week off, 2 weeks off, even some time off work. If you're financially stable, or you can manage your finances, it's really important. So under Mental Health Care Act 2017, again, I would like to stress that every mentally ill person has an absolute right to function the way they want. They have the right to work. They have a right to get whatever jobs they like. Okay, so this discriminatory thing, it's still there in India. I will not say कि it's completely gone, या फिर अब आप जाके बोलोगे मुझे depression है, तो they'll be like नहीं कोई बात नहीं. ऐसा नहीं है, unfortunately, in our country. But things are getting better. Things are getting better. Corporates are realizing the importance of mental health. In fact, you have a lot of psychometric testing before they actually, their jobs are taken up, and there's a lot of mental health is as becoming as important as physical health before joining on board. Okay, so being mentally healthy is going to help you overall. So like she said, go take your take your help, feel better overall, reduce your stress levels, do things that make you feel happy, and I think you'll have a better workplace environment.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think that is very important to remember. Moving on to the next. So this one says that I feel that I want to speak my heart out but then I'm worried that I might come off as attention seeking.
I guess maybe that feeling must be arising because, like, so mental health problems, like, most of the times we always, tend to overthink, we tend to ruminate on the same thoughts again and again. And, we kind of end up bottling all those feelings within ourselves and don't really open up to those, to our people around us. So, may when one fine day when all the problems seem very overwhelming, you decide to open up to somebody, and then then you get that outburst of tears, and you emotionally you get very overwhelmed. So maybe that is the time when somebody feels like they are seeking attention, but that is not really the case. Your feelings are very valid and justified.
Okay, so I would like to add to this that to see, if you are suffering from depression, if you're having any issues, forget depression, even if you're having some issues at work, you're having some adjustment problems. See, you cannot expect, even if it's your friends or your family, expecting them to understand everything, every bit is not right, actually, because they're also normal people working under normal stresses. Their parents have their own stresses, your friends have their own stresses. So, ये जो हमारा concept है ना कि we should be talking, they should be listening to us, हमारे पास कोई ना कोई होना चाहिए, ये मॉडर्न टाइम्स में और डिफिकल्ट होता जा रहा है बिकॉज एवरीबडी हैज देयर ओन ग्रुप ऑफ स्ट्रेसेस. ठीक है, योर पेरेंट्स हैव देयर प्रॉब्लम्स, योर फ्रेंड्स हैव देयर प्रॉब्लम्स. That is why the best thing is to talk to a counselor, talk to a specialist. Okay, talk to a psychologist, because they will listen to you without judgment. They'll be able to tell you whether this is just general stress, or this is this is something major, or this is some kind of depression. So taking professional help when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, I think that should be normalized in our society now. Okay, it is very normal in US and UK where you have therapists. Everybody has a therapist. The day they've had a difficult day, they can go to their therapist, they can talk to them for a while. So everybody in outside has kind of a therapist. An easy access to therapist. India में unfortunately वो concept अभी नहीं आया है. एवरीबडी फील्स कि नहीं यार आज मुझे खराब लग, एक तो इंडिया में द कॉन्सेप्ट इज कि जितना स्ट्रेस कर रहे हो उतना अच्छा है, जितनी फीलिंग्स कम अंदर रख रहे हो उतना अच्छा है. देन सिमिलरली लाइक दिव्या, आई वुड से दैट सपोज यू हैव अ बॉयफ्रेंड और अ रिलेशनशिप एंड यू आर सैड एंड यू एक्सपेक्ट हिम टू अंडरस्टैंड एवरीथिंग. यू एक्सपेक्ट कि मैं उसके साथ बैठ के सब कुछ बताऊं, वो मेरे साथ वैसे ही रिएक्ट करे जैसा मैं चाहती हूँ. ऐसा नहीं होता नॉर्मली. सो दिस थिंग अबाउट एक तो अटेंशन सीकिंग, नो इट्स नॉट अटेंशन सीकिंग एट ऑल. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट this is anything but attention seeking, because if you're feeling stressed and you're not working properly, you're not seeking attention, you're trying to get rid of this stress in any form. और अभी आपको वो फॉर्म सामने अपना फ्रेंड दिख रहा है, अपना बॉयफ्रेंड दिख रहा है, अपने पेरेंट्स दिख रहे हैं, बट ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड दे आर ह्यूमंस टू, दे हैव देयर ओन स्ट्रेसेस एज वेल. सो इट इज बेस्ट दैट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम टू जस्ट सीक प्रोफेशनल हेल्प. दे विल बी एबल टू हेल्प यू बेटर. They'll be able to understand your problem better. They'll be able to listen to you properly, and you will actually, they will actually get a solution, rather than the same thing again and again. See, a depressed person, if you talk to him once, the depression is not going to go away. ओके ऐसा नहीं होगा कि सब चला जाएगा एंड दे विल फील ओके, ऐसा नहीं होगा. ओके, दे विल नीड टू टॉक अगेन एंड अगेन. इसीलिए जब हम थेरेपी देते हैं स्टार्टिंग में, तो समटाइम्स इट्स 4 times a week, sometimes it's 5 times a week. So it has to be, it is intense. Okay, so you can't expect others to be there for you 4 times a week, 5 times a week. You cannot expect your friends to talk to you all night. Yes, if somebody has empathy, they will, but it's not common, and it's very difficult for them to understand. So rather than us thinking कि हम attention seek कर रहे हैं, go seek attention from a professional help. Why not go to a counselor? If you guys understand this at your young age, you'll live a much better life, because your expectation, you cannot have such expectations from every relationship. Sometimes people suffering from adjustment issues have these expectations from everyone कि मेरे parents क्यों नहीं सुन रहे हैं, my boyfriend is not being empathetic, my friends are not listening to me. They will not be able to understand the way a professional person will be able to understand. So my suggestion to you is, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling that everything is too much and I need to confide in someone, talk to a friend if they're willing to listen to you. However, it's always best to go for professional help, and it is not difficult to get professional help also. Let me tell you, ये इंडिया में हमें कई बार लगता है कि हम किससे बात करें, कहाँ जाएं, So you have to understand that everywhere you have psychologists. अब तो खैर online consultation has become so easy that you can just type in the psychologist near you and you will get one counselor near you who's willing to listen to you. Okay, otherwise also any medical colleges, Somaiya has a psychiatry unit, complete psychiatry unit. Otherwise any medical college, they all have psychiatry units, they all have consultants, they all have psychologists working with them. So just go to the nearest government medical college that you know of, or trust medical college that you know of, and you will get therapy in the cheapest possible manner. okay, in the least amount of money that you want to spend. And I know students don't really get that much money. Hamesha paise ka crunch rehta hai. So there are a lot of free organizations who are willing to listen to you for free. If you check out the internet, you'll be amazed what good work people are doing, but how many of them are willing to talk to you without any problems. There are free suicide helplines, like I said, there are free helplines everywhere. So look for that, So when you're feeling stressed, try to understand people around you also might be feeling stressed. Okay, so it's not that easy for everyone to understand. इसीलिए प्रोफेशनल हेल्प सीख करना इस टाइम पे बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. Okay, rather than expecting everyone else to understand your problem.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Moving on to the next. Okay, so some words can be very triggering to people. In some cases, they feel like screaming on the inside, but they don't really share this. They constantly feel bullied by it. So, what is your view on it?
Okay, I'm answering now.
First, the panelists will go.
Yes, sure.
Okay, so since I'm not a counselor, I cannot give medical advice, but I'd like to start off by saying that your feelings are valid. It is not easy to showcase your vulnerabilities, and the fear of getting bullied for speaking out against something which bothers you is very real. I know right now that there will be people ready to come at me with pitchforks if I say that I find all those jokes about Monica being overweight as a kid in Friends disgusting and triggering. If hearing a couple of words brings back memories which you thought you had closure on, or triggers an overwhelming emotional response, then people who have the privilege of not being survivors of trauma do not get to decide how you react to something. Only you get to decide what's right for you. Today, it is becoming a norm to give trigger warnings wherever necessary. Okay, so as I was saying, your feelings are valid. It is not easy to showcase your vulnerabilities, and the fear of getting bullied when you speak out against something which bothers you is very real. I know right now, if I say that I find all those jokes about Monica being overweight as a kid in Friends disgusting and triggering, there will be people out there who will be ready to come at me. So it's never easy speaking out. And it's important to remember that if hearing a couple of words triggers an overwhelming emotional response, or it brings back memories which you thought you had closure on, then people who have the privilege of not being survivors of trauma do not have the right to decide how you respond to something. Only you get to decide what's right for you. Today, it is becoming a norm to give trigger warnings uh, on the internet, in academic settings, and in movies as a way to warn survivors of trauma that they are about to consume potentially distressing content. Sadly, but not surprisingly, there are critics of trigger warnings who think that people should face the realities of life and stop being so oversensitive. Um, at the end of the day, we all know that the world can be a harsh place, and not everyone will have the moral compass to react appropriately to you when you open up to them. But don't let that deter you from speaking out. There will be people who will understand what you're saying and work with you to create a safer and more inclusive environment for you. And in the end, it is always best to seek professional help.
So yeah, right. Like Bilva said very correctly, that trigger warnings have come up, and people are getting, I think, more sensitive to trigger than earlier. Earlier, it used to be, it wasn't so, people were not so willing to understand this. But let me tell you just one thing, that if something is triggering you, okay, I mean, I understand that triggers are going to be there. There's always going to be something that triggers you. But please understand, if something that triggers you is that it is very much a possibility that you have not healed completely. Okay. So that trauma, जो trauma से जो healing होनी चाहिए वो पूरी complete होनी चाहिए, right? So probably there are times when you've just repressed your trauma, or you just repressed your thoughts. They've just gone back, they're just at the back of your mind, but they're really not there. Okay. So often we tend to repress a lot of our memories and we think we are okay. Okay. So a lot of things that happened in childhood, we don't forget them, we repress them. So when a trigger comes up, when something comes up, that memory comes flashing back. Okay. And it gets very difficult for us to, control it, or very difficult for us not to react to it. Okay. So if something is triggering you constantly, if there is a memory that is constantly getting triggered because somebody is saying something, please take professional help and heal yourself completely first. Okay. That is really important. Secondly, yes, I absolutely agree with Bilva that yes, people need to be more sensitive to others. There has to be, but then see that it's a world, it's a jungle out there. You're going to find all kinds of people. Okay, there are people who believe कि ये तो सब बकवास है, mental health कुछ नहीं होता है. There are people who believe कि इसमें क्या हो गया, हमने ऐसा बोल दिया तो क्या फर्क पड़ गया. Okay, so there are going to be all kinds of people. What the best you can do is to focus on yourself. Okay, focus on your traumas, focus on your issues. Okay, if there are certain people who are triggering you, जिनके बोलने से आपको खराब लग रहा है, कुछ आपको अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, leave them, get out of that circle. Okay, leave that website, get out of those things. If you're being fat shamed somewhere, and that is used to be like she said very correctly, I have always found this, I have never understood this. I love Friends, it's one of my favorite shows, but I never liked this fact that you're fat shaming her for being at a young age, and so many episodes which is based on that. In fact, agar aaj Friends bana hota, तो there are a lot of things in that show that people have kind of understood today that to know this is wrong. But we have to understand that there is something known as trigger, and there is a part of it which is known as, what can I say, there is something called a contenter's or a poet's license. That there's certain things people will make fun of, and it's good to take it in a stride. It's good to find it funny if you do. Okay, so if something is triggering you constantly, all right, if something is creating problems for you, please seek help and get rid of it, because people are not going to stop. There will never be an ideal world where everybody will be appreciated for their shape, everybody will be appreciated for their color. People who have not undergone trauma have no idea what sexual abuse is. There are people who make fun of sexual abuse sometimes. When Me Too came up, I remember that people would say कि अरे 10 साल बाद बता रही है ये क्या sexual abuse था. Okay, so you have to understand that everybody is not going to have your sensitivity level. Okay, so if anything is triggering you constantly, get help. Talk to a professional. Get rid of that trauma. A lot of therapies exist for that. A lot of professionals are doing therapy today for helping you out with childhood trauma. Okay, that's a better way than expecting the internet to be good to you or expecting the world to be good to you. It's not going to happen. Even in the most ideal scenario, in the best of world, we will not, it's not going to happen like this. There will always be something that will trigger your memories. Okay, so I really wish there was a world जहाँ पे trigger का concept होता, जहाँ पे लोग ये समझ सकते कि नहीं, this is wrong, किसी को don't call someone fat, don't do this. Unfortunately, that world is not there. So I'm being very realistic about it, that you have to realize that what is triggering you, why is it triggering you, is it a repressed memory? So seek professional help.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Let's move on to the next one. So this one says that I have a very loving set of friends, loving family, but because of my depression, I'm not able to give back as much, and I constantly feel guilty about it.
Okay. So to feel guilty is to feel responsible or regretful for a perceived offense, real or imaginary. I'm not going to call guilt useless or destructive or say anything at all to romanticize it. I don't consider it my place to give anyone advice on how to deal with guilt and depression. I can, however, place some facts before you which might help you understand your feelings a little better as you work your way through your illness. In a study in Germany, it was found that the prevalence of guilt feelings in adults with major depression was 37.4% as compared to 8.1% in adults without depression. Another study, a 2012 study, found individuals with depression respond differently to guilt than people without. In this study, investigators used fMRI to scan the brains of a group of people after remission from major depression and a control group who had never had depression. Both groups were asked to imagine acting badly towards their best friends. The scan revealed that the people with a history of depression did not couple the brain regions associated with guilt and knowledge of appropriate behavior together as strongly as the never depressed control group did. Interestingly, this decoupling only occurs when people prone to depression feel guilty or blame themselves, but not when they feel angry or blame others. This could reflect a lack of access to details about what exactly was inappropriate about their behavior when feeling guilty, thereby extending guilt to things they are not responsible for and feeling guilty for everything. You are 100% entitled to your feelings, and I can understand how deep and all-encompassing this guilt can be about not being able to give back. But I assure you that the people who love you would never hold that against you. And I'm not saying your guilt isn't real, but I think even though you feel guilty, it doesn't mean you are guilty. You are deserving of all the love, forgiveness, and peace the world can offer.
Okay, so very nicely put by Bilwa again. But let me tell you one thing. See, guilt is often a symptom of depression. Okay, one of the important criteria sometimes of depression is not just a criteria but a symptom of depression is guilt. Okay, so a lot of depressed people, like she said very correctly, a lot of depressed people feel guilty, okay, of not being able to do this, not being able to do that, maybe not able to function as well as they would like to, not being able to love their loved ones as much, get irritable with them. So guilt is often a part of depression. So whenever we start patients on medications, we start them on therapy, often this guilt goes away. Okay, they often realize it was not our fault. Okay, so it's a kind of a feeling that is a part of depression, and when you treat depression, it is actually going to go away. Okay, so if you're constantly feeling depressed, maybe it's a part of your depression. Maybe it is because you're still depressed, you have not recovered completely, maybe that is why you're feeling guilty. Okay, secondly, you have to understand that, see, just like any physical, will you ever feel guilty of having a heart attack? You won't. Okay, because you don't know, that you didn't know that there was less blood in your heart, you didn't know that your heart stopped, right? Similarly, you cannot be guilty of having depression, because I want to, I just want to express this as much as possible, as much, what can I say, as vehemently as possible to people, to understand one simple fact, that your mental illness is just the same as your physical illness. Okay, there is no difference. There is a neurobiological aspect of mental illness. Please understand, it is because of lack of serotonin, lack of dopamine in your brains. That is the reason you are getting depressed. Okay, there are a lot of theories, I won't go into detail. All right, so let's try to understand that mental illness itself is not your fault. Okay, a lot of people feel कि ये मेरी गलती है, because people don't understand the symptoms at all. Families don't understand the symptoms at all. So if you have somebody in the family जिसको fever है, it's very easy for you to understand उसको fever है, let them sleep properly, let us take care of him, let us give him good food, he's going to get better. But mental illness, because you can't see it, okay, you can't, sometimes I, to my lay patients, I often tell कि ये दिमाग में बुखार है. अगर दिमाग में बुखार होता तो आप समझ जाते ना, कि अगर सामने आपको दिख रहा है बुखार तो आप समझ जाते. तो mental illness, because it is not seen so correctly, people don't understand it that correctly, so there are a lot of lot of stigmas associated with it, and one of these stigmas is कि मेरे वजह से हो रहा है, I am responsible for it. So first and foremost, your patients need to understand you are not responsible for your depression, you're not responsible for anxiety, you're not responsible for any mental illness that you are suffering. It is because of certain chemicals in your brain, they are going haywire. It is because of certain problems in your brain, and they can all be sorted out with medication, with therapy, or we can help you a lot through these. So that is one reason guilt is going to come down when you realize it's not because of you. All right, and secondly, when you're not mentally healthy, you cannot expect yourself to help others. Okay, only a mentally healthy person will be able to help somebody else feel their emotions. All right, so often in times in families, we feel we are not able to help our families enough, we are not able to do things enough. It's because you are not well. Okay, so first you take treatment for yourself, get better yourself, your guilt will immediately go away, because it's like I said, it's a part of depression. Second, even if it is not a part of depression, it is a part of that stigma that says, you are responsible for your mental illness. Okay, so it's very important for patients to understand they are not responsible for their illnesses. Okay, there is a reason why they are having mental illness. Simple सी बात है, एक बीमारी है, उसकी एक दवा है, उसका एक रीजन है, आप ट्रीटमेंट लोगे, आपको गिल्ट फीलिंग्स भी धीरे धीरे कम हो जाएंगे. Right, so don't force yourself to constantly feel guilty about it. Don't force yourself, like she said very nicely, that you're equally worthy of being loved, you're equally worthy of every single thing, you're equally worthy of working through this. So just understand that concept very clearly, that it's not you, it's not your fault. Right, when you understand it's not your fault, it'll get much easier for you to get rid of that depression.
Yes, doctor, thank you so much, that was very helpful. Moving on to the next set of questions. So there is a friend who comes to me, and the symptoms show very much as if he's dealing with a mental illness. So how can I encourage him to seek professional help when he's very hesitant to do so?
So a study by WHO found that 30 to 80% of people with mental health issues don't seek help. I understand that this is in part due to the stigma attached to mental ill health, as well as a lack of knowledge about or accessibility to healthcare, and feelings of fear, anxiety, shame, denial, or lack of insight. 1 out of every 5 Indians suffers from a mental disorder, but only about 1 in 10 people receive evidence-based treatment. These figures are alarming. Everyone deserves access to mental health care, and those with access deserve to seek help without facing stigma. There is no shame in seeking help in one's road to recovery. Studies have shown that if all adults with probable mental illnesses are exposed to mental health campaigns, almost 50% would receive mental health treatment. So, as such, awareness is key. When it comes to encouraging your friend to seek help, it is essential to use non stigmatizing language while discussing their mental health, making sure that they know you're there for them and that they can talk to you, being sensitive to the timing and the place, being prepared for assistance, offering to help out in anything they need assistance with, and above all, you need to ensure them of your continued love and support throughout the process of therapy.
Okay, so that's a very pertinent question as to how can we tell a friend, because you are feeling that isko zarurat hai, that this person should go to a doctor, and they feel they're very hesitant. Now the hesitancy comes from, like she said, comes from stigma, that mental illness kabhi theek nahi. And you have to understand ki stigma, why is there used to be a stigma against tuberculosis also some years back when people had TB. There was a big stigma regarding TB. How did that change? So things that changed in this was a lot of first and most importantly, a good medications came. Okay, which medications that were able to help people with TB. सबसे बड़ी problem ये है कि most of Indians, or in fact most people, do not have any idea about mental health की medications. They have no idea about these drugs. They feel ये सारी दवाइयों से नींद आ जाएगी, we will just sleep, they'll be addicting, they'll make us gain weight. Okay, so there is so much of, even amongst medical students, I would say, there is so much of misinformation regarding antidepressants, regarding antipsychotics, regarding all these drugs. There's a lot of misinformation. Okay, so that is one reason why mental health is stigmatized, because they feel that in case I get this illness, I'm never going to be okay. I'm going to be on medications that are going to harm me. Okay, so this thing has to change. Okay, awareness है, अच्छी बात है, बात करना अच्छी बात है, but सिर्फ बात करने और awareness से काम नहीं होगा. Okay, we need to be working towards more research in psychiatry. We need to be working towards better medicines. We need to be telling people now. Around somewhere around 1960s or 70s, there were medications that would put you to sleep. There was really no hope. In fact, you guys would have seen old movies like, To Kill a Mockingbird, I think, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If you see these movies, you will say that the entire mental health association, the hospitals are so dark, and everybody, like all the patients are behaving in such a weird, nobody wants to be in such a place like that. So you need to understand that now things have changed a lot, whether it be in terms of antipsychotics, whether the drugs that we give, they really help to reduce your illness. They really help to improve quality of life. Antidepressants that commonly are used, like fluoxetine, sertraline, these are such great, amazing drugs that they actually cause neurogenesis in the brain. Okay, they're going to actually improve your neurons, the quantity of neurons in your brain. So you have to understand, if your friend is educated enough, tell him very simply that depression acts like a toxic kind of a toxic substance to your brain. Okay, it is killing your neurons. If you continue to suffer like this, you're going to lose a lot of you will not be able to think as well. You will not have your quality of life is reduced. आप जो काम जिस चीज को करने के लिए आपको पूरा दिन लग जाएगा, if you start taking medications, if you start taking treatment, it is actually going to help you. So your quality of life will improve more than you have ever imagined. Okay, so please try to understand that this is not just about your feeling feeling let me just continue, kya farak pad raha hai, the medicines are worse. You have to understand these medicines are actually out there to help you, and they are fantastic. A lot of my patients and see, you have to understand the end of what is the final point of depression. The final point of depression is suicide. So there is no side effect of a medication which is worth suicide. Right? A lot of people with depression commit suicide, but a lot of people can be saved. A huge group of people who have committed suicide could have been saved if they were given proper antidepressants at time. They were given proper medications at time. Okay, so explain to your friend that there is no stigma attached here, because it's your life. Okay, let the society say whatever society has never, a lot of people in societies have a lot of different views, but it is your life. By the end of it, it is your quality of life, it is your day. You are dealing with yourself. You are the most important person, right? You need to feel good about yourself. If you don't feel good about yourself, how are you going to continue working? How are you going to continue doing what you're doing in life? So stop suffering. Okay, stop suffering, take help, talk to a counselor, talk to a psychiatrist, talk to whoever you want. Okay, but it's going to improve your quality of life. Overall, none of these medications are going to cause any of those things that you've dreamed. और जो भी issue है, आप डॉक्टर से बात करो यार, आप समझने की कोशिश करो, आप उनको बताओ कि ये मेरी issues हैं, ये मेरी problems हैं. We are out there to help you. We're out there to tell you that what every medication is doing. We are willing to talk even to a lot of my students. I talk about, what is the mechanism of action, how these medicines help. So we try our best to reduce the stigma associated with this. Okay, so talking to a professional is just going. Secondly, I'll tell you one more important thing. I feel that nowadays online consultation has started happening, which is actually a very good thing, especially for people suffering from mental illness, because they don't want to go to a hospital. They don't want to be seen around psychiatric units. You know, they feel कि यार मैं psychiatry में जा रहा हूँ, मैं psychiatry का paper बनवा रहा हूँ OPD में. So a lot of people have that doubt. So a lot of hospitals have started having online consultation. If you feel so worried about the stigma, go and consult them online. Do an online consultation nowadays, right? That is also going to help you. Whatever it is, you need to take help. You need to understand that this is, by the end of it, affecting you. The stigma may be a societal stigma, but it is mostly affecting you personally. Okay, and it's your quality of life that's getting affected. So you need to seek help. Okay, and none of these medications are lifelong. None of these medications not all of them will make you feel sleepy. There are certain medications we give that do induce sleep, but that's because patient is not getting sleep. Or depression में sleep कई बार कम हो जाती है लोगों की, anxiety में नींद कम हो जाती है. Right? So all these things are there. Talk to a counselor, talk to a professional, talk to a psychiatrist. That's my first thing usually. Talk to a psychiatrist, talk to a doctor who can explain to you what is going on. Okay. And say that, tell your friend to at least give it a chance. Tomorrow, I've seen women going to a gynecologist without any issues, they're okay with that. But it's going to a psychiatrist is a problem. Because that's how our society is, unfortunately. But I think things are changing with the younger generation. They have tried to understand that how they're very focused on themselves. They're very focused on the fact that I need to feel good. I need to feel well, right? So when you tell him this, I think you can try and convince them.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I think we'll definitely keep this in mind. Moving on to the next question. So research says that 3 out of 5 teenagers will seek help, or rather talk to people online who have similar mental illnesses. So is that going to take turn for the better or for the worse?
I believe that venting out or expressing what you feel, or at least listening to what other stories of overcoming their inner as well as outer battles, how they have experienced their mental illness when it was very severe and now they have come to the mild stage. Or even knowing that someone is there with me in the same community, in the same boat, might help me motivate to sail through it. But still, I would like to add on that this is not enough. Only sharing, listening to the inspiring stories online, as well as talking to your friends who might be suffering from the same depression that you are. But still, you will need help of a specialist. You need help of a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Like if we take two bowlers, one of them can do spinning and one of them can do fast bowling. Obviously, they can teach each other like how do they do the tactics. But still, where to aim at, which batsman has to be put which ball, that is only taught by coach and observation that the coach has and he puts into you. So that's where the psychologist and psychiatrist plays a role. They know how to individualize treatments according to you, according to what you are suffering, according to what your symptoms are.
Yeah, so Kirti very nicely put. I think I don't have too much to add to her. She's very right that, see, there are two important things you need to note here. First, that, so you have to be talking to the right group of people, okay? Because not everybody understands the symptoms of mental illness, okay? Or not everybody understands what you're going through. So while you might think that you're able to talk to them, you don't know what is going on. And the world of internet, it's not a very nice place to be sometimes. Sometimes you never know when you're being taken advantage of. You never know any of this. So my suggestion would be, see, a lot of us doctors, we often make a lot of WhatsApp groups. Like I have certain patients who I know that there's a group. It's a form of group therapy, where I know that there are 7-8 of my patients who are suffering from, say, alcoholism. Like there's a concept of Alcoholics Anonymous, you must have known, where you have 11-12 people. All of them are recovering alcoholics, and they talk about it. They talk about their feelings. They feel good. So this is a form of group therapy, which is great. Group therapy in itself is a kind of a therapy. So a lot of people seek that in their while talking to people. But you have to understand, like I said, not everybody is out there suffering from the same thing, and you might get confused. Okay, a lot of people do not know what mental illness is. So rather than going to random people and talking to random people, it's better you seek professional help. Talk to a psychiatrist, talk to a psychologist. We have a lot of our hospitals have group therapies going on. I know, in fact, I have like 5-6 patients. I know they're all suffering from depression. They're all becoming better. So all of them can sit and talk. It feels good. It feels good to vent out. It feels good to know that there are other people who have problems like mine. Okay, I'm going to get better. So in that sense, Kirti very rightly said, it is going to help you vent out. However, you have to be careful to who you are saying it to, what you are saying it to. It cannot be कि lot of times what happens ना, अरे यार मैं ये दवाई खा रहा हूँ, तुम भी ये दवाई खा लो, इससे अच्छा लगेगा, ये दवाई क्यों खा रहे हो, इसमें तो ये side effects हैं, है ना? So because of lack of knowledge, I think it could also create problems, right? Because not everybody has similar knowledge. So it's always better to seek professional help, talk to them, talk to your professional, talk to a psychiatrist. They will be able to tell you better. And like I said, a lot of people have groups and group therapies. A lot of doctors do group therapies. I think that's a better way to go than just seeking random people on internet, right? So that's, just be careful. It's always good to talk to people. इसमें कुछ गलत नहीं है, लेकिन थोड़ा careful होना इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. You have to be very careful of what and who you're talking to.
Okay, so this is the last question, and it is for Dr. Tejal. So I would like to ask, since you've had such a great experience in this field, I would like to ask that what are the specific changes that need to be brought about on a systemic level, on an institutional level, that can make it easier for people suffering with mental illnesses, to break the stigma?
Okay. See, Anushka, the problem is that mental illness is not just about depression or just about anxiety. It's a spectrum of disorders. Okay, it can go range from anxiety, depression to psychosis. Well, there are a lot of things, lot of disorders: OCD, childhood mental health disorders, sexual disorders, gender identity disorders. There's so many disorders that are a part of mental illness. Okay, what we need to understand in terms of stigma is, if your I think each and every institution or whichever colleges, we should all understand the fact that we don't need to stress our students or our workforce so much that people who are vulnerable to mental illness tend to eventually suffer from it. Okay, so a lot of institutes need to provide a healthy, safe environment to their students. I've seen so many student suicides. Okay, whether it be All India Institute of Medical Sciences, whether it be IIT, whether it be Somaiya itself, there are so many people, they tend to commit suicide because of the stress they're going through or because of the mental illness that they're suffering from. So there has to be an open policy in institutions regarding this. Okay, we are getting there, but we are still not there. Okay, so the institutions need to have an open policy. That discrimination against mental illness has to stop, but it is not going to stop very soon because we don't understand mental illness. डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तब खत्म होता है जब हम उस चीज को समझ जाते हैं, जब हम उससे डरते नहीं है. वी आर नॉट स्केयर्ड ऑफ इट एनीमोर. वी आर नॉट स्केयर्ड ऑफ टीबी एनीमोर because we know we have medications that can take care of TB. Okay, we are less scared of HIV now because we have medications that helps us with HIV. Problem is that mental illness में अभी भी the medicines, people do not know about these medications. So people need to be more aware about these medicines, and a lot of help comes from students like you, groups like you who are willing to talk about it, who are willing to explain to people regarding all this, right? So we need more public, and I would say we need more public and professional partnerships. We need more doctors to talk about it. We need more doctors. I mean, we have very few psychiatrists. The psychiatrist to population ratio is very, very low in India. Okay. So we have very few psychiatrists. We need to understand this, that we need to increase the number of psychiatrists, the number of doctors in our country. We need to increase the number of institutions in our country. We need to talk more about this, definitely. And at an individual level, I would say we need to get rid of this stigma, in the sense that tomorrow, if you have a boyfriend who is suffering from depression, don't dump him because he has depression. Try to help him out if you can. And I'm not saying that you need to be extra empathetic towards him. No, but you need to understand that if he seeks help or if he takes help, he is going to get better. Okay, don't dump him just because he had mental illness. Okay, so similarly, marriages should not break because your wife is suffering from something and she cannot, you're not willing to give her medication. That is when we will say that stigma has reduced. When marriages are not breaking because of this mental illnesses, when people are willing to go to counselors and people are willing to talk about their feelings. When somebody says I have depression and others are not like, "Arey yaar, ye kya hai?" ऐसा नहीं है. People are, okay, you have depression, you're taking medications, good for you. That is when the stigma will come down. We have a long way to go when it comes to mental health stigma, but I think it's getting better. There's a lot of people talking about it. I think it's getting better. A lot of corporates helping their people working in their workplace. I think it's getting better overall, but we still have a very long way to go.
Thank you so much, Doctor. These were the questions from my end, and I think we had an amazing experience learning so much from you. So now I would like to request, or rather ask the panelists if they have any questions for Dr. Tejal.
I would like to ask a question. So, my question is that sometimes I feel like almost everyone or many people are low-key depressed or anxious, and then when you open up to your parents or someone, the general reaction is that you need to stop being so addicted to your phone, or it is the internet which is making you this way. And then it's not like it is all consuming for you, that depression or anxiety, but somewhere you feel like it is making a it is change it is affecting your life. So then how do you decide when to seek help in such a situation?
Okay, Bilwa. The thing is that what you're talking about is probably it's not really it's depression when when you're facing certain symptoms that that persistent symptoms like low mood, crying spells, not reactive to environment. आपको जब कई बार ऐसा होता है कि when things are around you, or you're feeling bad about things around you, you start feeling low. But when things get better, you start feeling better. So that is probably not depression. However, like I said, see, there is no limit to when you can seek professional help. You can seek professional help even if you're feeling low for one day. Okay. You can have you can talk to a therapist or a counselor even if you're feeling low about certain feelings. That we should normalize that. We need to normalize the fact that if I'm not feeling good, if my quality of life is being affected, let me talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Nobody will stop you there. However, I would say that if these symptoms are persistent, okay, if you're feeling low, if you feel like crying, if you think you're eating very less or you're eating more than usual, if you're not sleeping well, or you're sleeping more than usual, if you're gaining weight for no reason, or if you're having tiredness, fatigue, nothing is interesting to you, you lack motivation, if these symptoms have been present persistently for over 2 weeks, definitely you could be diagnosed with depression and you need to seek help. However, there's something known as dysthymia, where you have lower level of these symptoms lasting for years together. Okay, that's known as dysthymia. Okay, so, like I said, you can seek help for any time that you want, but anything that you feel is affecting your quality of life more than a few days, where you are facing problems more than a few days, you can seek professional help, right? So, your parents, see, they come from a different generation altogether. जहाँ पे क्या होता था ना, they used to have a lot of, there used to be a lot of joint families. So people would talk to each other. There used to be a lot of venting out amongst women. That used to be like that. And then, of course, we were used to not talking about our feelings. We were used to, jo hai, suffer karo, and, let's get over it. A lot of women, pehle also they have suffered from depression. Today also they're suffering from depression. But that concept of talking about it has come out now, where youngsters like you are willing to talk about it, willing to understand कि depression, anxiety hai. So your parents, most of our parents belong to that generation where there is a little less talking about feelings wala concept, psychiatrist ka concept nahi hai. Now the concepts are changing. So like I said, you can seek help on day 1 also, you can seek help on day 10 also, no problems. But yes, if you're getting these feelings persistently over weeks, please seek help.
Thank you so much, that was really helpful. Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to ask?
Doctor, so you would definitely recommend like early intervention being there, like just like any other physical illness, there should be an early intervention here as well.
Absolutely. The earlier you intervene, actually, even for medications, the earlier we start, the better is better for us, better for everyone. The longer that duration of untreated period is there on any kind of mental illness, the lesser the medicines will help you. Okay, so the जितना जल्दी आप help seek करते हो, उतना जल्दी आपकी medicines भी आपको help करती हैं. ठीक है ना, काउंसलिंग भी आपको हेल्प करती है जितना फास्ट आप करोगे, बिकॉज दैट मीन्स वी आर प्रिवेंटिंग यू फ्रॉम getting reaching a more difficult stage. Everything has stages, everything has mild, moderate, severe, like all physical illnesses, depression also has mild, moderate, severe. So let's it's best to seek help in mild form, moderate form, rather than letting it get severe and then making it more difficult for you.
Okay, so I think this is the end of our session. Thank you so much, Doctor. We really learned a lot on today's show. And thank you so much to the panelists for joining us. You guys made it really more interesting, and sharing your experiences was quite helpful. So thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you guys for having me, and thank you so much for such a, I think the panelists knew most of the things. I just had to add a few things here and there, but I think most of them had a very good idea about mental illness. So I'm really glad you guys are talking about all this. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, so I
see
think
you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Doctor.
I'll just leave the
Thank
meeting.
you, ma'am.
Thank you. Take care, guys. Bye.